Good morning. Good morning. Is this working? This is working. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Desert. My name is Mel Wilkinson, and I'm pleased to be your worship associate this Sunday morning. We are glad you are here with us today, whether you are here in the sanctuary or watching online. If you would please, just for a moment, take a moment to silence everything that rings, chirps, walks, talk without permission. We acknowledge that we gather on the ancestral and unceded territories of the Agua Caliente Band of the Cahuilla people, who have stewarded this land through many lifetimes prior to our arrival. We strongly commit to growing in our understanding and our relationship with this land, our dependence on it, and with the people who inhabited it before our arrival. As we work together in love, we strive to nurture each other, to honor the inherent worth and dignity of every person. And what that means to you is that all of you are welcome, and we are very glad you're here with us today. If your race, culture, religion, financial well-being, size, gender, or sexual orientation is somehow different, then you're not alone here. We celebrate the diversity you bring, and we look forward to getting to know you. What does matter is that you are here now. We invite you to join us as we commit together to embrace the rich and beautiful diversity of the world. I invite all of you to help us build a community centered in justice, in compassion, and in love. We are very grateful you are here with us today. Again, welcome, and please join us for coffee after the service. Our website is uucod.org, and if you'd like to sign up to receive our newsletter, simply write to admin@uucod.org, and we'll get that off to you. You know what? I forgot to ask anybody to light the BioPOC candles, but since you're sitting there right there, would you like to light the BioPOC candles, Francine? Thank you. And if you follow along with the words on the screen. Symbol of in faith, together we light this small scrap of light. Okay. Oh, wrong one. All right. Well, I got that one wrong. All right. We unite in the ringing of the Tibetan bowl, then listening to music for centering ship print.
My opening words are from my call to worship is from Susan Magan, which I've adapted a little bit. From beyond the playful summer clouds, beyond the earth's thin blue line, from beyond the bright moon and meteor showers, we hear the call to look and listen carefully, to turn away from a world that buys and sells happiness, to fully experience the luring whisper of your heart's truth. Why not today? Why not now? We are here and together at home in this evolving place, home in this ever-changing breath and body, home in this dewy morning, even as it reaches toward a hot high noon. We hear the call from far beyond and deep within, and we do not hear it alone. Come, let us worship together. Our opening hymn is "'Tis a Gift to Be Simple." Words are on your screen. Please rise in body or in spirit.
As we light our chalice this morning, please follow along with the words. In faith together, we light this small scrap of light, symbol of Grandfather's Son's enormous power, whose energy burns so brightly in these days leading to summer, catapulting the leaves and vines, vegetables, flowers, and fruits to astonishing size, lengths, and heights, spilling over the tops of cages, walls, and trellises, nourishing all beings. We bask in the warmth of the heart of these days and the lightened hearts of quickened sentence, in gratitude and faith. If you'll wait just 1 second. I forgot something. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. As we get ready to go into the summer months, how can we simplify our lives to make space to live them? What simplicity is our delight? The Reverend Maddie Sifantus retired as the full-time 10-year settled minister of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Santa Paula on July 14th, 2024, where she is now Minister Emerita. She previously has been, at different times during her ministry, a parish minister, a community minister, a youth minister, an elder minister, and always with a focus on the arts, mostly in music. She previously served 2 small, formerly Universalist congregations in Massachusetts, Wakefield and Milford. She was originally ordained by the First Parish UU Church in Wayland in 2002 as a community minister. Reverend Maddie's education begins with a bachelor's and a master's in elder studies and interdisciplinary studies from Lesley University, and a master's of divinity with honors from Andover Newton Theological School in 2002. Her background of education continues. She studied at the Rhode Island School of Design, Boston University School of Theology, and the Framingham State College, as well as extensive private musical training beginning in childhood. She was honored by the City of Santa Paula in 2024 for her devoted ministry and community leadership, plus other awards from the Santa Paula Ministerial Association, Brandeis University, the Massachusetts Legislature, and the Arts Wayland Foundation, as well as the Unitarian Universalist Society for Community Ministers. She is the founder and director emerita of the senior citizen corps she directed for 20 years, the Golden Tones, which was what sent her to the seminary in the first place. Really? I'd like to hear that story. In her busy life today, she enjoys visiting ministries like this one, leading rites of passages, spiritual companioning, her professional singing career, and seeing her family who live in Pasadena, California. I introduce to you Reverend Maddie.
So it is my gift to be here, and I won't say too much about it, but I did want to say a little bit about Santa Paula, because my time for all ages today comes really out of what I've learned there, which Santa Paula, if you don't know, is in Ventura County, and it is 80% Mexican or of Mexican extraction. It's right in the middle of the agricultural valley, which is these days more and more avocados, because people seem to like avocados, but lemons and citrus of all kinds. They used to call themselves the citrus capital of the world, which I think maybe they are, I don't know. So 2 years ago, Mel, you heard that I do have a professional music career that's kind of gone alongside the ministry and predated the ministry, actually. And 2 years ago, I was singing in Healdsburg, California, with friends of mine, the Rowan brothers, who I've been performing with since I was a teenager, which was a long time ago. And we were performing at a place called the Elephant in the Room, which I loved that. And before that, we were hanging around in town, and there was a little bookstore with an author in front of it named Maria Jasso. And so I got to talking with her. She gave me this book that she had just written called I Am Latinx. And that is what my story is about this morning. Back in Boston, there was mostly French Canadians around when I was growing up, and Italians and Irish. And so it's been being out here in California that has made me understand some issues in a very deeper way. So here we go. And hopefully everything will go and you'll see the pictures. And there you go. Hola! My name is Scarlett. I was born in the United States of America. My mommy and papi were born in Mexico, which means I am of Mexican descent. According to my mommy, this makes me a first-generation American. A first-generation American is a person like me who was born in the United States from immigrant parents like my mommy and papi. Another word often used is Chicana for females or Chicano for males. Sometimes people assume that if someone speaks Spanish and has a dark skin tone, they are Mexican. This is not always the case. I have met other children in school who have a fair skin tone with colored eyes who were born in Mexico like my parents. For example, Belize is the only country in Central America whose official language is English. All the neighboring countries and other countries in the region, like Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras, are predominantly Spanish-speaking countries. It is important to know and teach others that someone's skin color or ability to speak Spanish does not make them Mexican. One night, I was getting ready for bed, and I saw a pink T-shirt that was given to me that had a unique word on the front I had never seen before. So I asked my mommy, what does Latinx mean? My mommy looked surprised. She asked me to sit on her bed as we talked about the meaning of Latinx. Sweetheart, Latinx is a word that was created to be gender inclusive. In the past, we would say Latina for females or Latino for males. Now we include everyone with one word, Latinx. Mommy asked me if I knew I was Latinx. I said, no. I wanted to learn more about this new word. Mommy also told me that Hispanic is a word for someone of Latin America or Latin descent. My abuelita and abuelito always speak with me and my mommy in Spanish. They tell me it is important for me to speak Spanish as often as possible. My abuelita tells me if I don't speak Spanish, we will not be able to have the beautiful conversations we often have. And I think she is right. I want her to continue telling me her stories of being a young girl in Mexico. She tells me it was difficult for her and my abuelito to migrate to the United States not knowing the English language. My mommy had to learn English quickly to be able to translate for my abuelitos. Sometimes I feel nervous about speaking Spanish around other people because I feel I will say the wrong word. My abuelita told me not to feel nervous. She said to try my best, just like she did, and continue to do so. You see, language is magical. Before today, I didn't know much about my culture. I have now learned about my mommy and grandparents' challenges, and I love my ancestors. I have also learned what makes me special. I am special because I'm fluent in 2 languages, Spanish and English. I celebrate both Mexican and American traditions. I enjoy posadas with my family and celebrate Christmas in December with friends. I love delicious pozole my grandmother makes for me and the traditional mac and cheese. I dance to mariachi and hip hop with my family. My mother tells me of the hardship my grandparents endured in order for us to live a better life in America. I am grateful for my family. I am thankful to have a colorful history and honored to continue to learn about it. For all these reasons, I love my heritage and my culture. This is just the beginning of my Latinx discovery journey. My name is Scarlett, and I am Latinx. So when I met the author, and she gave me this book, she inscribed it in the front, and I explained about what our Unitarian Universalist congregation was doing in Santa Paula to help support our Mexican farm workers and immigrants, and especially, this was way before the ICE thing, but now I would tell her about what we've been doing to accompany people. And she wrote this, and I think it applies to all our UU congregations who have been trying to work in this area. For Reverend Maddie and the Universalist Unitarian Church of Santa Paula, thank you for doing amazing work for our community. Please continue to teach and share your passion. And that meant a lot to me because moving out here to California with all of you and learning about this part of the world has meant a lot to me. And it's important for us as we get older to keep learning, keep learning. And now I am so happy that there's going to be choir.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Fast, and I'm Jonathan Fast, and I've been a member of this church for about 8 years. And need to say a little bit about the first piece that we're going to sing this morning. As many of you already know, every Sunday UUCOD devotes the collection of the plate to a different charity. Some are easy to remember. So food on the first, socks on the second, so you have that nice alliteration. But the third Sunday, the fourth Sunday, I never knew what was going on. So I wrote a little song to help me remember, and maybe it will help you too. And I got to say, Jim Tong, our conductor, and my choral companions here put a lot of hard work into developing this. And fate saw that Chip Prince would be our accompanist, and he would like to make some kind of dumb pun about him being the prince of accompanists, but I won't. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this. Wait.
Show us how to love. Show us how to love. Show us how. Show us how to
Thank you, choir. Thank you, Jim. It was lovely.
Please join me in a time in the spirit of prayer and meditation. Come into your bodies. If you'd like, you can close your eyes or just put them at a soft gaze and be aware of what you brought with you this morning into this sacred space, this place that we make holy by our very presence here together in this hour, this morning, this time that will never be again with this group of people who won't be quite the same any other time. Spirit of life in whom we live and move and have our being. As we turn our attention to the depths of this life, the cosmic mystery and wisdom that abides in all that is, we can pause for just a few moments this morning to sense the presence of what is most precious in our lives. In these strange and often unsettling times, challenging times, there is a lot of change and confusion in the air, a lot for us to cope with, which we would not have chosen. Sometimes we face each day, each hour even, each mood that arises in us the best we can. We may often find ourselves lonely or fearful or irritable or just plain tired in these times. But still, there is much to be grateful for. We are grateful for this community gathered this morning. We are grateful for the food that we have and the ways that we can provide for those in our community that need food and need water and need help and need the centering of love. As we look forward to the coming week, after this hour, we hope that we can live well each day. We pray that we can be our best selves, using each one of us, our unique gifts, in the service of love, in the service of justice, in the service of peace. May it be so. Amen. I just wanted to say a word about our hymn to meditation this morning, which is your usual Spirit of Life, and then the Spanish version. I flipped it around this morning to sing the Spanish version first, because on the second verse, we're going to be singing a descant that was written by Margaret Cruson, Peggy, in the 1980s. She wrote this descant for me on Easter, and it is so lovely that I like to share it whenever I get a chance. So you'll hear that sort of floating over all of you, but that doesn't mean you should stop singing, though. Okay, so here we go. Fuente de Amor.
Spirit of life.
So, while I start saying these words, there will be some slides. I've seen one of them already during the choir of singing of some scenes at Hancock Shaker Village, where I visited. It's a living history museum way out on the west of part of Massachusetts, right on the New Hampshire border. And it's really a lovely spot if you ever get a chance to go there, which they call the City of Peace. And it's a place where the simplicity of Shaker design, history, ideas, and more comes to life. One inspiring building there is their circular barn. There's several images of it that have gone by, or we'll see. So today's sermon is named for our Shaker hymn we sang a little earlier, "'Tis a Gift to Be Simple." And I'm starting this morning with a poem from a favorite poet of many of us, mine in particular, who was brilliant at focusing on what she found each day, the simple things, from the late Mary Oliver. Every day I see or hear something that more or less kills me with delight, that leaves me like a needle in the haystack of light. It was what I was born for, to look, to listen, to lose myself inside this soft world, to instruct myself over and over in joy and acclamation. Nor am I talking about the exceptional, the fearful, the dreadful, the very extravagant, but of the ordinary, the common, the very drab, the daily presentations. Oh, good scholar, I say to myself, how can you help but grow wise with such teachings as these? The untrimmable light of the world, the ocean's shine, the prayers that are made out of grass. So I've been wondering, as we head into the summer months now, how we might simplify our lives to make space to actually live them, to find delight in the small things, in our daily living, as surely the Shakers did, and our poet. I ask myself, what is if simplicity is our delight? And what kills you with delight and leaves you like a needle in a haystack of light? How do you define delight? Well, I love to look at the dictionary to see what they have to say, and they define delight as something that gives you great pleasure or happiness. I think of it as joy lit from within, or untrimmable light, uncomplicated joy, surprising joy, even in these times where when we turn on the news, we don't feel a lot of joy. But the joy goes on. We have to look for it. Thinking back to our hymn this morning, one that many UUs love to sing, and I heard you sang it just a few weeks ago here, "'Tis a gift to be simple. 'Tis a gift to be free. 'Tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in a place just right, what will be the valley of love and delight." So how do we know where we ought to be? How do we know we are in a place just right? Wouldn't it be great to be in the valley of love and delight? Every time I come here, I kind of feel like I'm in a valley of love and delight. Although this is the first time I've really been here. And did you know that this hymn, was a dancing song? There's a couple of slides somewhere in there where you can see engravings of the Shakers dancing and singing. There are words in the song about bowing and bending and turning, and the Shakers actually did those things as they sung those words. The song was both an instruction for dancing as well as an instruction for life. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed to turn. Turn will be our delight. So by turning, we come round right. Our version of right. I did a version of this sermon several years ago back at that church I used to serve in Santa Paula. And my church administrator there, her name was Crystal Johnson, she found her delight by trying to find an image for the front of the order of service or order of worship every week. So she'd put the title in Google search. Now she'd probably use AI, I guess, and see what images come up. So my title for this one was, "'Tis a Gift to Be Simple." But wouldn't you know that a number of the image came up with a gift with the gift to be simple. The gift instead of a gift. So even that isn't simple. Someone switched it up. And I told Crystal that the usual title that a lot of people give this songs, which you probably know, is Simple Gifts. And it was pretty much unheard of before Aaron Copland put the song in his Appalachian Spring. I see a lot of nods from across the room, not just the choir. That's pretty good. And it became very popular in the mainstream. In the summer, I often go to Tanglewood in Western Mass, where Aaron Copland is revered. Not that he isn't other places. Crystal, not being a music person at all, had never heard of Aaron Copland, and she'd never heard of the Shakers. And maybe some of you haven't either, so I'm going to spend a little time on the Shakers this morning. They were a small sect who were originally located in England, starting in 1747, in the home of their founder, Mother Ann Lee. They came out of another religious group called the Quakers. So Eleanor will, maybe, I don't know if you knew this part, but that the Shakers came out of here. And they also originated in the 17th century, around the same time as the early Universalists were forming. And they were often called back then, way back, the Shaking Quakers, because of their ecstatic behavior during worship services, all that bending and so forth. Both the Shakers and the Quakers believed that everybody could find God within him or her or their self, either through clergy or ritual, rather than. No, they didn't have clergy, didn't have a lot of rituals, but the Shakers tended to be more emotional and demonstrative in their worship. Our early Unitarians were more attuned to the Quakers, who we often called our friends in the friends. The Shakers believed that their lives should be dedicated to pursuing perfection, and which they attempted in everything they did. They migrated to colonial America in 1774 in pursuit of religious freedom, as so many groups did back then. And they built, believe it or not, 19 communal settlements that attracted some 20,000 converts over the next century. Their first Shaker village was built in New Lebanon, New York, and then 18 others in Maine, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York, Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, and even as far as Georgia and Florida. But they were strict believers in celibacy, which is, might imagine, problematic for a religious organization. They maintained their numbers through conversion and adoption of orphans, of which there were many in those times. And they reached their maximum size about 1840. They eventually became known for their simple, functional furniture designs, similar to the furniture of the Amish, and their baskets. Our song was written in about 1848 by Joseph Crockett from the Shaker community in Sabbath Day Lake in southern Maine. Believe it or not, that community still exists. The very last one. And you can go visit it. I haven't gone yet. The other ones basically are museums, if they exist at all. And I've been to Hancock Shaker Village several times and Enfield in New Hampshire. So all of this reminds me about keeping things simple and finding delight. I think it can actually be the simple things, the simple gifts that can bring us delight. So I challenge you as we go into this summer to think about what that might be for you. One thing that does not keep things simple is the rampant consumerism that has us hankering after possessions and doing things like so-called retail therapy, as one store I used to frequent in Stockbridge, Massachusetts, used to call it. And these days, with sites like Etsy and Amazon and all of those, it become easier and easier and easier to have boxes and more stuff arrive at our houses, along with the question of where to put it all. And as we grow older, the accumulation of stuff over a lifetime can have us bursting at the seams. I know as I prepared to move to Santa Paula 12 years ago, after 39 years in the same house in the Boston area, the boxes and boxes and boxes of books that I gave to the public library, the bins and the bins and the bins of VHS tapes, remember those? That I brought to our local recycling center. And the bulk of items I could not seem to part with, like my boxes of penguins and my Beatles memento. So here comes a little bit of a show and tell. I mean, how could I give this away? Obviously, that made the cut. And the books have seemed to divide and multiplied since I arrived back in Santa Paula. I was recently reminded of a book I love and which did make the cut from Massachusetts, Simple Truths by Kent Nerbrun, clear and gentle guidance on the big issues of life. And in it, he talks about possessions. He says, and I quote, "Most of our possessions arrive in our lives almost by accident. Gradually, like falling snow, they accumulate around us until they form the basis of our identity. We don't intend for this to happen. Most things we acquire are meant to increase our happiness and sense of fulfillment, but their uniqueness is quickly subsumed into the ordinariness of daily affairs." End quote. We may wake up, as I sometimes do, and say, where did all this stuff come from? We may decide to do something about it, but then we start and say, I can't throw this out. My mother gave it to me, or my grandparents, or whatever. In fact, yesterday I made a trip to my upper garage while I was taking a break from thinking about these words for this morning. Then I thought I'd heave a bunch of stuff out. You need to understand, when I decided to take the call, Come West, I had no intention of moving at all 6 months before I did that. I'd never heard of Santa Paula. I barely heard of Ventura County. And after the congregational vote, I had to return to Massachusetts and pack up all this stuff, and I did throw a lot out. But there were many boxes shipped here that say on the side of them, and do still, to be filed. And many of them were filled to the brim with music. Very hard for me to part with music, books, or records. After all, I might need this song, Santa Cruz, My Home in California, where the golden poppies bloom, that someone cleaning out their music had given me somewhere along the line. Who knows who that was? It came out in 1909 and has an inscription on it that says, "To Margaret from Aunt Annie." Not a clue. And what about all of the boxes of other things? This is show and tell. Okay. So once upon a time, I was in a band called the Road Apples back in the 70s. And it was my birthday, and they gave me this box. And in it, there's notes from every band member. Somehow there's some marbles in there, too. I don't know where they came from. I just can't throw it out. I don't know what it is about that. Which brings me all to the gentle art of Swedish death cleaning. How to free yourself and your family from a lifetime of clutter, by Margaret Magnusson. Some of you may have read it. There's a show you can watch, apparently. I've never seen it, on Peacock, based on the book. Margaret, in her own words, says that she is aged somewhere between 80 and 100. Kind of a large spectrum. I recently listened to the book on a long drive and have to admit I laughed out loud a number of times, both in how funny she was and in recognition of, the issues. And as the name implies, it's rooted in the Swedish tradition of decluttering and getting rid of material possessions prior to death. One of her main points is that while the practice sounds like it would be embraced in your final years, there's no need to wait till then to engage in it. Who wants to, though, right? But anyway, people of a variety of ages are using this decluttering approach to enjoy a simpler life now. And that would be our delight, I think. My delight, anyway. It is a gift to be simple, and your gift will be to be free and be able to enjoy the daily delights of life, unencumbered by the tons of stuff that surrounds you that you maybe don't even remember why you bought or how it came into your living area. I guess I need to talk about my record collection before I stop. I have a huge record collection from goes ways back, but how could I give away Urban Spaceman by the Bonzo Dog Band? Anybody remember them? Oh, they were really, really funny. And this one, which is like some bootleg thing, The Mothers of Invention at Fillmore East, June 1971. I used to go see Zappa anytime I could. So anyway, there's a lot of those. So I'm going to tie it up now and end with another poem, but another one of my favorite poets. He used to live in New Hampshire, the late Donald Hall. As we go into the summer months, perhaps with more space around us, you never know. It's called Summer Kitchen. In June's high light, she stood at the sink with a glass of wine and listened for the bubbling and crushed garlic in the late sunshine. I watched her cooking from my chair. She pressed her lips together and reached for the kitchenware and tasted sauce from her fingertips. "It's ready now, come on," she said. "You light the candle." We ate and talked and went to bed and slept. It was a miracle. He wrote that for his wife, the poet Jane Kenyon. If you've never read any of her work, she's also died before him, and wrote an incredible poem called Otherwise, about enjoying every moment because one day it will be otherwise. I encourage you to find some things that kill you with delight and breathe into the spaces around you, giving thanks for this precious day, this day we've shared together this morning, and perhaps tackling a box or two later in the week. Blessed be, and amen. Our closing hymn is one of my favorites at this time of year, the Sweet June Days. Please rise in body or in spirit. The sweet June days are come again, once more the glad earth yields, beds old and well of ripening grain, of doughters live the fields, and deepening shade of summer woods, and glow of summer air.
Thank you, Reverend Maddie. That encourages me to go clean out my closets.
Your junk.
My junk drawers, yes, all of them. Hang on. For the congregational news this morning, I have had a few texts from Denise Jansenegger. So let me give you the first one. Social Justice Committee is having a party next week on Sunday afternoon, and you are invited. On June 14th, the anniversary of No Kings and Flag Day, join us to watch Rise Up, Sing Out, a concert for the First Amendment. Together we will celebrate the freedoms guaranteed the First Amendment, including the freedom of speech, religion, press, assembly, and protest, and the people power that protect them. The following Tuesday, June 16th, Singing Resistance, the Coachella Valley will be leading songs at the Vigil for Justice at the Analanto ICE Detention Center. And talk to Denise for more information. And all of the information on this is in the newsletter in case you'd like to read that. Finally, next Sunday is Socks on the 2nd. Please bring socks for our shoeless people. I think that's all. Oh, the Faith 250 workshop with Reverend Ian is doing with Rabbi Lazar is meeting again next Thursday, the 11th at 9:30 in the community room. So that's a very important thing. Okay. Allow me to take this time to thank the Army of People. Army of People. You know, when I was here, I came in early this morning. I was the first one here this morning. And by about 10 minutes later, this place was packed. Just packed. It was only 8:30. And everybody was doing something. And it was just fascinating to watch because everybody did something. And it was priceless, priceless. But the army of people that serve us and bring us food and clean up after us, thank you from our bottom of our hearts. Thank you for making this magical moment happen. And again, Reverend Maddie. Good morning. Oh yeah, extinguish the chalice. It says so right here, extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth. The community and the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts. Yes, it is. Okay.
My benediction are a few words from Adrienne Marie Brown. We are a delight. We could be another's blessing with our brief and epic lives, where every day, we are given the option of love. Thank you, everybody. It was so nice to be here with you all this morning. Go out and find your delight.